Please rise for invocation by Reverend Melissa France of Daytona Beach Drive-In Christian Church.
I bring greetings from across the bridge over in the shores. Hello to everybody. Let's pray. Creator of all, we welcome your presence in this space tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to serve our community in the ways that the men and women gathered here tonight do. I pray that they would seek your wisdom and guidance as they work to make decisions that will impact the lives of those who live, work, and play here in Port Orange. I also lift up our first responders, and I ask for your protection for them as they serve and protect our community. I pray for their families who wait upon their return home from their shift. Guide, direct, and protect them in all that they do. Holy One, tonight we will hear about World Encephalitis Day, and I lift up to you all those who have received this diagnosis of inflammation in the brain. I pray for their families, their doctors, and medical staff who provide care for them. Thank you for all that you do for us, and may the business that is accomplished here tonight bring glory to you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilman Foley?
Here.
Councilman Gross?
Here.
Councilman Bastian?
Here.
Vice Mayor Stiltner?
Here.
Mayor Burnett?
Here. All are present. We have a full quorum tonight. With that, recognition and proclamations, and recognition is absolutely deserved. Item 4, donation from Jane Taylor to the Port Orange Police K-9 Unit for Stealth Fighter K-9 ballistic vests. Wayne, who do we have to speak to this?
Chief Marino.
I've heard of him.
Chief, how are you?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, city staff, and guests. Chief Manny Marino, Port Orange Police Department. It's my pleasure tonight to recognize one of our residents and a big supporter to the police department, not just the police department, the city of Port Orange in general, but especially to the police department, Miss Jane Taylor. I gotta say, I've been here 2.5 years. This is the second time Jane's made donations to the K-9 unit. She's reached out in the past to see what she can do to help our motor unit. And then at the last minute, I know she made contact with the vice mayor and also managed to get involved with Cops for Christmas and made a very generous donation for that program as well. But tonight we're here to talk about Jane's recent donation. This is K-9 Officer Jared Alvasados and his K-9 partner Nico. You see him wearing the Stealth K-9 ballistic vest that were donated by Jane, not only for K-9 Nico, but also for Officer McBride and her K-9 partner, Buddy. Unfortunately, Officer McBride had a death in the family and could not be with us tonight. I gotta say, this particular donation for me is moving. My former agency is a brand new officer. We had a K-9 killed in the line of duty. K-9 Kimbo was shot and killed by a double homicide suspect, America's Most Wanted out of California. So this one's touching. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So.
Glad to do it. No, I don't speak.
That's the rule. The dog wants in that picture. That's outstanding. Oh, that's awesome.
He's like, I gotta go back to work.
Time to work.
I can tell you from having done a ride along with that dog and that officer right there, they are incredible. Jared has a relationship with Nico that is just absolutely incredible, and it is definitely worth protecting. And what Jane has done to help do that, I'm so grateful for. But it's incredible to see in a 12-hour shift riding along how passive and gentle that dog can be until something happens. And if he thinks that officer is threatened, boy, I don't care where you are, you will know it from Nico. It's incredible to see that the partnership between the officer and the canine goes so much further than just a professional one. It's terrific to see. With that, item 5, World Encephalitis Day Proclamation. I will read the proclamation. Kat, come on up. You're going to have a video to show us real quick and a couple words, but I want to present this to you. But in doing so, I want to read it first. Whereas encephalitis is inflammation of the brain, and whereas encephalitis can strike anyone, anywhere, at any time, and at any age, resulting in a serious and sometimes life-threatening medical emergency. And whereas encephalitis impacts an estimated 20,000 people in the United States and 500,000 people globally each year. And whereas encephalitis leaves survivors with an acquired brain injury affecting not only the diagnosed individual, but the entire family and community at large. And whereas the 501c3 organization of Encephalitis 411 strives to improve the quality of life for all those impacted by encephalitis. And the final whereas, it is imperative that there be a greater public awareness of this serious health issue. Therefore, I, Donald O. Burnett, Mayor of the City of Port Orange, proclaim February 22nd, 2024 as Encephalitis Awareness Day. And in the City of Port Orange, I encourage all residents to support World Encephalitis Day and learn the symptoms of encephalitis in order to raise awareness and better support early diagnosis and treatment for those who become ill with this neurological condition. And with my signature and the seal of the city, it is so declared. Kat?
Thank you. Yeah, video. Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, my name is Matthew. I'm 30 years old.
Escape. This is one of the most caring and giving individuals a community could ever want. And the fact that you're here right now and the ability for us to do this on your behalf and on behalf of so many, I'm ever so grateful. And I want to allow Mike to take his picture, and I'm going to allow you to say a couple of words.
Yeah, they say never follow animals and children, right?
Yeah. The microphone's all yours.
Thank you. There's a reason that video is a silent video. This disease is rarely known. The World Encephalitis Society, if you're not aware, has been in existence for over 40 years. I never heard of it before. World Encephalitis Awareness Day on February 22nd every year has been acknowledged for the last 10 years. I never heard of it before. So if you didn't either, don't worry. Ken and I are on a mission to change that. My husband Ken is in the back. World Encephalitis Day is February 22nd this year, and it's on a Thursday. And since its launch, World Encephalitis Day has reached millions of people through media interviews and events, features, and social media. There is a hashtag called Red4Wed, and we are doing our best to spread that around the United States so people can acknowledge that this disease exists and help try to get people better treatment quicker. It is our hope that recognizing World Encephalitis Day locally will play a leading role in getting not only the state of Florida, but the United States in general. In the UK, World Encephalitis Day and the Red4Wed campaign is acknowledged in over 156 different places. To date, the United States has had 2, and as of last week, we have upped that to 11. So we have a lot of work to do, but I want Volusia County and the great state of Florida to lead that way. So I'm here. Ken and I have set a goal to inform and educate as many people as we can so that no other person has to go through what my last 18 months have been. I was misdiagnosed for over 11 months. I was 3 days shy of 1 year since my very first seizure. And it took me going to the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix for someone to find the answer. I went for a 2-week stay, ended up staying for 4 weeks because I had an incredible medical team out there that acknowledged something was wrong and they weren't going to let me leave until they found it. So praise God for them. The symptoms of encephalitis are so hard to determine if you have encephalitis because they mimic so many other diseases. And I was misdiagnosed with epilepsy for over a year. I don't have much intimate knowledge about epilepsy, but I kept telling them that's not what I have. It's just something in you when something like this happens that says, that's not it. Let's keep going. And that man right there fought for me every single day when I couldn't even get out of bed and said, something, you don't know her? There's something wrong. So 78% of the people in the world have never even heard of encephalitis and definitely can't tell you what it is, despite the fact that 500,000 people globally have it. The type that I have is called autoimmune encephalitis with an AELGI1 marker. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about. I know a lot more now than I did 6 months ago, but that marker exists in less than 1 person in a million. That's me. Told you. I was
Special.
1 in a million. I told you. Y'all should never let me go.
Less than 1 in a million.
Less than 1 in a million. That's the kind I have, the LGI1 marker. What it does is everything you saw in that video. I haven't driven a car in 18 months. I haven't been alone in 18 months. I have to have somebody with me all the time. I was at the peak of fitness. Distance runner. I was in excellent shape. One day I got up, was doing some work for the city, got up from my home office and collapsed. So when they say anytime, anywhere, anyone, I'm living proof of that. So we need to get awareness on this, and I thank you very much. I'm going to ask you one more thing. If we could, the ribbon, the color, since every disease has one, World Encephalitis Day is red. That's all the red. And I would ask if the city would consider, because it's our hometown, either turning City Hall or the city fountain or the Welcome to Port Orange sign red that day. Ken and I are going to try to make the rounds for other cities that have agreed to do this and get as many photos as we can. The World Encephalitis Society is located in the United Kingdom, and I am collecting all of the mayoral proclamations that we are so blessed to get and all the pictures that we can find or people will send us, and we're going to send them in a package to the World Encephalitis Society and say, look at us. Once again, Florida is leading from the front. So there is a document out on the podium, and I think each of you have one. It talks about how our wonderful community can help participate in this too. in the Red for Wed campaign. And it's something as simple as putting something red on you or your animal or your coworkers when they're not looking, whatever, and take a picture and send it to me. There's a list on the podium of how to get them to me, and I welcome any questions. Ken and I want to make sure people have the facts. We have heard everything from I had a stroke, to I had a heart attack, to I have cancer. None of that is true. I have a brain disease that we didn't know I had 18 months ago, and we want to make sure that people learn the facts. I can't thank you enough for standing behind us and showing your support, all of you, for agreeing to this proclamation. It means the world to me. One of the hardest things I ever did was give up that seat. Lucky you, because I didn't want to go. But you were the one who made me realize that my mission changed. If I was still going to serve people, I just had to realize how to do it. And we had that conversation, and it was within an hour I turned around and told Ken, I said, I know what we have to do. We have to educate people. So thank you for letting me see the light. I appreciate it.
Councilwoman Atwood, and that's a title you earned. Albeit your stay up here on the dais was a short one, your mission to give back to community has been a lifelong venture for you, and I have no doubt that this will continue far beyond just this effort.
Thank you so
for
much.
bringing awareness. Thank you for making something more of what you're dealing with personally so that we can help more than just what's in front of us, but so that it can be talked about
Thank
the way
you.
it needs to be.
That's all we want. We want to help somebody else not go through this. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
bet.
Thank you all.
Love you,
You're
Kat.
welcome.
Thank you.
We love you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We love you too, Kim.
Yeah, good.
Ken, she's still better looking. Just saying. Public comments on consent agenda items. Robert? Yep, there he is.
Mayor, council members, Robert Reinhagen, 1425 Dexter Drive North, Port Orange. I'd like to talk about item C9B. The city leases to the Riverside Pavilion Association a piece of prime riverfront property for $10 a year because of some significant public interest. Compare that with item C9C, where the city is leasing raw well-field land along I-4 to Clear Channel for $1,500 per year to display a sign. Personally, I see no significant public interest in leasing riverfront property to the Riverside Pavilion Association. What I see is a no trespassing and members-only signs that deny me and all other Port Orange residents the right to access that riverfront. A right that I read was guaranteed to the public in perpetuity in the Riverwalk founding documents. I believe we should let the lease terminate, buy the structure back in accordance with the lease, then offer to lease the building and the land back to the association for the current free market price that prime riverfront property would get us. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Robert.
Anyone else want to comment on any item that's on the consent agenda? There being none, need a motion on item 7 to approve the agenda for the evening.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion proper second for approval of the agenda for the evening. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That leaves items 8 through 10 on consent. May I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve items 8 through 10 on the consent agenda.
Second.
I'm starting to worry there for a second.
I was reading that.
Items 8 through 10 on consent. Call the roll.
Councilman Foley,
Yes.
Councilman Grubbs,
Yes.
Councilman Bastian,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stiltner.
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes. 5-0 on items 8 through 10 on consent are approved. Brings us to public participation. Somebody, who is this? Kristen Johansson, who I've never heard of before?
Good evening, gentlemen. Kristen Johansson, 6611 Maryvale Lane, Port Orange. I'm here representing the Port Orange South Daytona Chamber of Commerce. I'm also, by the way, on the board of directors and the chair of their workforce development committee, and several items that we are working on I wanted to draw to your attention. First of all, we are excited to partner with Spruce Creek High School for their career fair that's coming up on February 29th. I have a flyer that I can provide to the mayor. Yeah.
He's been one to switch careers.
I know. So this is the first time that we've partnered with them on this, and we're excited to help them out to try to make it a success. So we encourage any businesses that are interested to come help our future workforce by participating in that career fair. We will also end up supporting the upcoming career fair with Atlantic High School when they have theirs on April 25th. So we'll look forward to that as well. Our president and CEO, Barbara Ann Hegan, and I are really excited to implement and partner with the city of Port Orange on an idea brought to us by Vice Mayor Stiltner. You'll hear about that later in detail, but we just want to make sure that we state that we like his idea. We are glad to partner with it and looking forward to any work that we can do together. And finally, along the same workforce development side of things, we run a youth civic leadership program. So this year will be our 8th year. We've also very much in partnership with your city, and you guys have been a great supporter of it since the beginning. We're in our 8th year. It will run June 3rd through 7th, and applications will hit our high schools by the end of this month. So we encourage anybody that has students in that age category, or at least has access to students in that age category, to encourage them to apply. Applications will be available at the high schools and on the chamber website. That's all I have. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank
Appreciate it. She set you up for,
She did,
for
didn't
council
she?
comments. I would say that we have everybody on the edge of their
Yeah,
seats.
right.
And we got Skip Simmons.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Skip Simmons. I live at 543 Hamlet Drive here in Port Orange. I'm the executive director of No Longer Fatherless, a 501c3 nonprofit founded right here in Port Orange. So I'm just here to spread awareness about our mission and what we do and try to reach more families. So we exist to recruit, train, and match mentors with boys who are growing up without a father figure. And this is in Volusia and Flagler counties. So currently we have 50 mentors matched with 50 young men, basically from Edgewater up to Palm Coast and then out in West Volusia. So we are trying to spread awareness to any families in need in the area who haven't heard of us, or any men who this may resonate with who would be interested in getting involved. So we have 3 major programs. It's one-to-one weekly relational mentoring. So each mentor is matched with one young man. And then we also have group events and life skill classes. These are designed to just have amazing experiences with the mentors and boys, and to also show them new passions and hobbies that hopefully can turn into a career someday. And we're just trying to find something these boys can latch onto and be passionate about that can truly change their life. We offer services to boys aged 6 to 19, and many people know the ugly stats that go along with not having a father in your life. It often leads to prison, youth suicide, drug use, high school dropouts, many negative outcomes, but mentoring can truly turn that around. And we've had some incredible stories of impact. Just recently, the young man I mentor, his mother asked him if something, God forbid, happened to her, where would he want to go if this situation came to be? And he said he would like to move in with my family, which hit me pretty hard, just showing the impact I've had being matched with him over the past several years. So just want to talk about the organization. And we currently are in a mentor training class taking place right across the pond at the Lakeside Community Center. We're partner with you guys frequently on things like that. Our upcoming golf tournament in April is held at the city's course, Cypress Head Golf Club. My wife and I are Spruce Creek High School grads, so we're all about Port Orange and just want everybody to learn about the organization and know the resources out there. So thank you guys for your time.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Skip,
luck.
can you,
Skip.
I'm sorry, 1 second. You come back up to the mic. Can you just, for everybody watching or that will rewatch the meeting and replay, can you just say how folks can learn more about the organization, if they can contact you, how they can go about doing that, any social media sites? Can you just say that for us?
Of course, I should have squeezed that in my
That's
3 minutes.
okay. No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, of course, our website is www.nolongerfatherless.org. And we also are on Facebook and Instagram. If you just look up No Longer Fatherless, that is what it is for both of those pages.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. Thanks for what you do.
Council comments. Scott, since you've been teed up, why don't you lead off?
Okay. So I got a couple things to talk about tonight. One of these is like head scratching, interesting to me how we got to this point, but we are there. And so just a little bit of background. So we hear from time to time complaints and interest in people being able to operate golf carts in various places in the community, and this has become like a Florida thing now, and I get it. And so there are state statutes and ordinances and different things that allow for different things, but one of the uses that has long been, in my mind, assumed and understood came to light recently that we need to tighten up with a little bit of housekeeping. So over 30 years ago, the community of Cypress Head Golf Course was designed and construction began and development began. Back then, I worked for the police department. And it didn't take very long after Cypress Head was built for people throughout the city of Port Orange to say, man, that's pretty cool. They've got a golf course community. They can ride around in their golf carts, go up to the clubhouse, go visit their friends, their neighbors, what have you. And we started seeing this evolution of people buying golf carts thinking, well, I can do this in my neighborhood too. Well, when these questions would come to light to the police department, and I think the chief could even attest to this, it was common practice. It was an assumed thing on all of us. I was telling the chief, I can't tell you how many times I said the phrase, that's only allowed in Cypress Head Golf Course community because that's a designated golf course community, which is one of the conditions of the state statute to allow people to drive golf carts on city streets. It's been that way for decades and decades and decades. And to my knowledge, while there may be a very small handful of people that lived in Cypress Head that maybe didn't like that idea, overwhelmingly, that's the assumed thing by the residents out there and the community by and large, and it is a common daily, everyday practice for sure. Cut to the chase here. In consultation on an unrelated matter to that, with the city attorney, and doing a little research, we have found that not all of the T's have been crossed and I's dotted to allow what has been common practice to occur. And so we need to do that. And I'm going to ask the city attorney to speak to it here for just a moment, but my ask here for tonight is for concession by the council for us to cross those T's and dot those I's, and that the practice to allow golf cart usage on the city streets. They can already do it on the private streets in Cypress Head, but not all of the streets in Cypress Head. And to that, I'll just give you an example. It is possible, and I guarantee in practice, to own a home in Cypress Head community, in the golf course community, and not be on the golf course to where you can access a cart path, and not be able to legally, as of today, drive your golf cart to the clubhouse to play a round of golf or get something to eat or what have you. It has been an understood practice. It's been an assumed practice. It's been something we've always thought was completely legal and permissible. And we need to make those corrections so that this issue is put to bed once and for all, because that's one of the reasons, probably not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons people choose that community and choose to buy homes in there, because that's a practice that's always been allowed. So I'll let Matt touch on that, and then
Before you do, Matt, I also would like you to look into this as well, because about a dozen years ago, I don't know, you may have already looked at this, about a dozen years ago, we did some cleanup to the ordinance that allows that, and I want to say that was like 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. So I'd be interested to know where we failed in that cleanup as well. And granted, that was a while ago, but that's so long ago. I don't exactly remember what it is that we did specifically, but I will allow your crack research team to look at that as well. Matt?
So, I mean, he pretty much said it. So your state law currently prohibits golf cart use on public streets. So we, in the city of Port Orange, we haven't designated any of our streets as being safe for golf cart use. It sounds like we may have had a practice, at least in the Cypress Head community, but we do need an official legislative act from the city council to make that legitimate. So at this point, we'll, if there's a consensus of council to move in that direction, we can bring back an official designation. Once that takes place, there's signage that needs to go into place. There will be some policy considerations for you guys to consider related to additional regulations that you may apply. We do have a couple of our neighbors that have some pretty bulky regulations as it relate to golf carts. South Daytona, Holly Hill. Some of your neighbors have done this and you know, actually designate quite a few streets as golf cart streets. There's a little bit of nuance in that, you know, there's LSVs out there too, low speed vehicles and golf carts, and sometimes it's not as easy as you would think to distinguish between the two. Those are actually okay, as long as it's a public street that's 35 miles an hour or less, and it has the proper equipment, you know, as per the statute. So sometimes, you know, don't think that if you see a cart on the street that it's automatically illegal and it's automatically a golf cart. Sometimes it's a low-speed vehicle and it can be there. So really, at this point, it's just a matter of council action to put the wheels in motion to make it a legal use of the Cypress Head streets.
Matt, here's what I'm going to do. Rather than give you consensus to strictly move forward, I don't necessarily like doing things like that unannounced. I don't care if it's on a consent agenda, but the council needs to act accordingly and vote on it in a manner where the public is alerted in advance. So if you could take the proper action to make sure that that happens.
Yeah, it would come back to you because there are a series of policy questions that you'll have to resolve either way. So we will be coming back to you potentially with at least a discussion piece before a final draft is in front of you for adoption.
And then that's my instructions to you, is to prepare that, bring that back to us. What else you got?
Does he need consensus from the whole council on that?
No, I just gave the
I
instructions.
just need one more.
Well, he needs
No,
one more.
you need either the mayor or two council people, Mr. Attorney. I know the law.
Okay.
I think you got one other one anyway, for you get the person who's requesting it right there, but you got what you need. What else, Scott?
Do you have what you need, City Attorney?
I'm
Okay.
telling you, you got what you need.
All right. I just want to make sure because
I've been at this a while too.
Yeah, I want to get the ball moving.
There
All
you
right. So next item here that I'm going to ask for consensus of the entire council, please. This is something that kind of came to light from two different angles as well. As most of us have seen and heard throughout the entire city of Port Orange, we have a lot of employers that are really struggling to find employees and to maintain their workforce. It almost is impossible to go into our retail stores and restaurants and so forth and not see they're asking for help, they're hiring, all those kind of things. We hear the stories over and over from a lot of business owners that they just can't find people to work. In addition to that, we are starting to hear a lot of chatter from graduating high school seniors who aren't necessarily looking to go off to college. And a lot of them are pursuing the workforce right out of high school, either as a short term, or maybe that's their long-term plan, or going into the trades. In any regard, we have a city that has 2 high schools in our city that graduates a tremendous amount of high school seniors every year. A lot of those folks coming right out of high school will need employment or be looking for employment right away. It just so happens we have a lot of businesses in Port Orange. And additionally, we have a Chamber of Commerce in Port Orange. And so the idea and the ask, and I've kind of talked a little bit loosely with the city manager's office and our Chamber of Commerce partners to see about the concept of co-hosting along with the Chamber of Commerce a true job fair, not a career expo. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think the career expos are great. But the idea of a job fair is businesses who have positions to fill and are looking to hire perhaps same day on site, and bringing together those who need employment that are looking to be hired right away in the same arena to benefit not only our graduating seniors from our local high schools, but also the businesses who need to fill those positions. And so we're looking at something where this would be logistically hosted by the Chamber of Commerce. Any business in the city of Port Orange can participate. They don't have to be a member of the Chamber. All graduating high school seniors would have first crack at this. It would kind of be a two-tiered, maybe not the right word, but a two-tiered approach where on the given day, the time schedule, let's say, ends up being 4:30 to 6, I believe, something like that. Kristen, am I right about that? Somewhere close to that.
The whole event would be at least 3 hours.
Yeah, so the first portion of that event would be exclusively for these high school seniors to know, hey, come on down, don't be intimidated by the process, bring your personal information, meet these employers, they've got jobs, they're looking to hire you. Come on down and facilitate that. Then after that, there would be an additional time period where others that are looking for employment could also come in and meet with these employers that are looking to hire as well. So we've got a great rec facility. The idea is to utilize that facility. We're looking at a date in May that coincides with the close proximity of high school graduation, as well as seasonal jobs that are going to become available. We've got a rec facility, we've got a Chamber of Commerce, we've got good folks that are willing to host this and logistically put this together. The additional ask that I would have is that all of our city council and our city staff also look for businesses that are looking for people and help spread the word to say, hey, this is coming up. You need, whether it's Home Depot, Lowe's, Publix, McDonald's, any retail store, dive shops, whatever it is that are looking to hire folks. And lastly to that, and I'll stop speaking and let you guys speak on this, but lastly to that as well, I would ask that our city manager and our department heads provide information back through the city manager's office as to what jobs they would like to be able to have available to offer to, because these are adults, these are folks. By and large, most of our seniors graduating are over 18, so they are going to be hireable in the adult workforce. Some are going to be looking for full-time, some part-time, what have you. And if we've got jobs in the city, I want to make sure that they've got an equal opportunity to apply and interview for those jobs as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, support of council for something like this. I think it's a really good idea. I think it benefits our community in multiple ways, and I'm grateful that the chamber has taken a look. They've reached out quickly to reach out to some business to say, is this something you think we can do? Would you participate, and do you have jobs? And 30 of them quickly responded back, yeah, we're in. I've also talked to 3 on the side to feel that out as well, and they're all in with jobs. So it doesn't sound like there will be a shortage of businesses that will have jobs to offer. The next step is to make those high school graduating seniors aware of this opportunity and comfortable enough to just come on in, just walk in. You don't need a fancy resume. It would be great if you got one, but you don't need that. Bring your ID, your personal information, whatever you want to bring, and come on in and meet with these folks. And then those of us that are available to kind of maybe be there somewhat as maybe mentors or coaches, just to make these high school seniors more comfortable when they show up to say, hey, thanks for coming in. What's your name? What are you looking for? And point out some of the businesses that may fit what they're looking for. So,
Council, are we in agreement that this is a good idea?
Yeah.
I think so. I think we do. I know the chamber, I've talked to Barbara Ann, and she's very excited about it, so I think it's a terrific idea.
There you have it.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, thanks. That's all I got.
Drew, you got anything tonight?
I do not. I'm not following that. Not touching that one.
Good. That's why I asked you after Scott. Reed, what you got tonight?
Actually don't really have anything tonight. Good.
Excellent report. Tracy, what you got?
I want to thank Miss Taylor for a citizen coming to the needs of the police departments and the K-9. It's outstanding that we have people in our community to come forth and do what you did. And I can't express enough gratitude for everything that you have done over the past and what you've done today. So thank you very much. The next thing is dealing with ponds. You know, we always talk about ponds and water and mitigation of water and all the fun stuff that we have. But it's education is always what I've talked about in the past. And tonight's no like any other. We're going to have an education night. So just real clearly, we come into the city has approximately a little over 582 ponds inside our city boundaries. Inside that, the city only controls 136. And then we take it down to, out of the 136, the question that is always given to me through email, text, or stopped in Publix asking me, when the rainstorms are coming, why aren't the pumps turned on and pumped down? Well, there's an easy solution to that. There's, out of 136 ponds that we control, we only have 6 pumps on the major ponds. Also, we need to educate as far as what groundwater is. The groundwater table in Florida, pretty high and dry, right?
I think.
So we end up, we literally can pump down these ponds and the major ponds, and within a couple of days, the groundwater level is going to bring the ponds back up. So even though the city does its due diligence, we are fighting against everything. So I just trying to educate the base of, 6 pumps on a few ponds is not going to take care of everything at hand. So please stay diligent with us as we go forward with the initiatives that we have proposed for moving water with projects that council, city manager, and the engineering team has put on the boards. And I re-bring this up because I think one of the scary notes was, we had Ian that took 21 plus inches of rain, and it was devastating. And the city went out and did its strong diligence of trying to make things as nice as possible and mitigate as we went forward. The last major rainstorm was in November, a little over 10 inches of rain. And it was nice to see that the things in the process that the city had put forward worked. 21 inches, we've had this story before. We're never going to be able to take care of 21 inches of rain. But the reason I bring this up is this past week on the news, a little state called California had 5 inches of rain. And catastrophic flooding in major cities with 5 inches of rain. I think we should commend our engineers and our facilities for taking care of that. We have now things under control of 10 inches of rain. A lot of us think it's a touchy situation to have this conversation, but I think we need to thank the people and the hard workers of the city for what they've done to protect us on 10 inches. When we have major cities with way bigger budgets that can't handle 5 inches. So, staff, I commend y'all. Thank you for what y'all have done. All we can do is move forward with the budgets. There's Tallahassee is helping us with to try to make better amends so we can take the 12 and 14 inches as we go forward. For the low-lying areas, yes, we're still working on your areas. We're dealing with engineering from the 50s and 60s, and those are problematic areas. So it is going to take us a little while longer. I know nobody wants to hear that, but it's been over 50 years of a process to create the water problem that we have. It can't be fixed overnight. So be diligent with us, and we will hopefully soon take care of this issue.
And some of these issues are not new.
Nope.
Smaller ponds go to larger ponds get pumped. Areas that have been flood prone for years and decades are, we've seen some numerous improvements like the Monroe Avenue project, but In some cases, I mean, the rainstorm in November, I was out in the middle of it taking a look at the Cambridge neighborhood because of how it was affected so adversely, and seeing the pumps, you know, seeing the roads flooding, and then the very next morning, the pumps given the time to work, it was completely dry. I'm like, you know, of course I was holding my breath, but all the same, we've got many more things to come along those lines, and we will talk about those at the town hall on February 22nd, just like we do every year. We have a town hall, and this year, February 22nd, we'll get more information out about that, but this is going to be a prevailing topic. You'll be able to come and see the projects that we have planned and proposed. You'll learn what else is going on in the city, and then anybody who wants to come, we also want to hear from you. We'll have all our department heads, we'll have all our experts there. The nice thing about that is sometimes I'll go meet with somebody, and I'm not an expert in everything. I may know a little bit about the many things that we do, but we'll have the experts there and our department heads in the room that night. We can get nearly all your questions answered, or at least to some degree. And we also know that we're affected by the things that go on in other areas. As much as we the things that we do affect others. We have been very active, at least I have, in personally helping advocate for Daytona Beach getting its Army Corps of Engineer review, and Congressman Waltz has been very instrumental in helping them. That's not going to be a slow, that's going to be up to 2 years it's going to take to do that study. But Daytona Beach has no Nova Canal outfalls in an area that's basically in a bowl. That water, you know, we're trying to figure out after an Ian how to hold 21 inches of water that we got. And then all of a sudden there's water flowing towards us and towards Ormond Beach and Holly Hill because there are no outfalls in Daytona Beach. So what happens in other areas, so we're taking on their water as well. So yes, I want to help them find solutions because I want to help them, but I also know that it impacts us as well. So sometimes we have to take the even bigger picture of multiple communities of what we do and how it affects everybody else. So these are important topics, and I hope to see everybody at the town hall.
Hey, just if I want to echo on something Tracy was talking about, because I think it's a discussion that needs to be happening all the time, Tracy, and I appreciate you bringing it up. The one thing that's also important to remember is it's not that we can't buy more pumps. We can buy more pumps, but there's only 6 retention ponds that are capable of being pumped.
Correct.
Because having the pumps is one element. You got to have somewhere to pump it to. Yeah. And that's a huge problem. And a lot of the communities, or a lot of the neighborhoods that we have in the Port Orange community that were built 50, 60, 70 years ago, because I've noticed this a lot. I'll look on Google Earth sometimes trying to look and try to come up with an idea. Some of these communities in these neighborhoods, they don't have a single retention pond. Yep. Their streets, this is a weird thing to say, their streets were designed to be the retention by the developer back then. Back in that day, those streets were designed for the water to flood the street and then eventually run off through natural means. So when you think, okay, I've got a community, it's got 120 homes, there's not a single retention pond. That street was designed to be the retention pond for those very heavy downfalls, which is bizarre. We don't allow communities like that anymore. If you look at the neighborhoods that have been built in the last 15, 20, even 25, 30 years in the city of Port Orange, they look totally different. Retention ponds everywhere. You can look and go, okay, water runs off there, there's where it goes, there's where it goes. Even if those areas those retention areas can't necessarily be pumped, there is place for that runoff to go.
Along with the elevation requirements of the buildings themselves.
Exactly. So that's just, I just wanted to add to that. I appreciate Councilman Groves bringing that up, because that's something that we just can't seem to talk enough about, and we need to talk about it. And since I can't think of a single topic since I've been on the city council that has been talked about more than rainwater and flood mitigation. From the time I got on, there were already projects that were pre-planned, that were in the works.
Absolutely.
That carried over, and so it's a non-stop, continuous process, and it's a constant fight that will probably be here forever as part of what we do. As
take a look at item 10. On item 10, we accepted $1 million grant tonight to take care of the reconstruction of the water mains down in Ridgewood and the Commonwealth area. And all that is interrelated. So,
Yeah.
that might have been on the consent
Agreed.
agenda. We didn't have to discuss it.
Right.
Because frankly, it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Agreed.
But it's being done.
Thanks, Trace.
The other thing that I had was, Wayne, I had asked for an update. There are 3 derelict boats that we're in various stages with. Wayne, can you tell us where we're at with getting those taken care of?
Chief will give you this update.
Way to delegate.
They're not the chief's boats, by the way. but-
Not my boats. Manny Marino, Chief of Police again. Yes, Mayor, those 3 boats, nothing's really changed since my presentation in November. We're showing 3 derelict vessels in Port Orange. The one that's resting against the mangroves right near the boat ramps, that one's been already deemed derelict and it's pending removal. We just don't have a date on that yet. The other 2 are still under investigation, so they have not been deemed derelict yet. The only other thing we've done as an agency, we did remove 2 boats that were tied up to the boat ramps that were in violation of city ordinance. So we did remove those, and we hauled those and had those stored at city yards. But as far as the derelict vessels, it's still the same 3 vessels.
And this process, of course, if we honor it, makes our expenses reimbursable, is the way I understand it.
Or they're not even our expenses, it'll be done by the state.
It'll get done, and it's not necessarily something that we have to worry about as local taxpayers with our own local tax base, because the state already accounts for that.
Correct. And
We're
if we
paying
do,
taxes elsewhere to make that happen.
that is correct. And if we do choose to at some point do that, the caveat to the grant is that FWC has to do the derelict vessel investigation
Okay.
if you're going to put into being reimbursed.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chief. Any other? That was it for my notes. And we went through all 5 of us, so that brings us board interviews, reports, and appointments, and Environmental Advisory Board. Miss Christine Cunningham, what you got for us?
I have props. Where is my prop, Mr. Foley?
I didn't know how ready you were for it.
I'm always ready for props. So, the word of the day is water goat.
Yes, good word.
We love water goats. Did anybody see January 30th, News 13? We were on there, and they did a whole presentation on water goats. In Port Orange, the city's Environmental Advisory Board is planning to install a water goat at Riverwalk Park this spring and become the latest city to use the device to prevent litter from entering the Halifax River. And at 4 o'clock today, I received notice that it'll be installed tomorrow over at Riverwalk. And Volusia County Soil and Water Conservation District graciously paid for the sign. We are all listed on that sign, which will be posted near the water goat as an education, part of the education process for that area, where we're also putting in the native plant garden as well. So this is step 1. It's very exciting. We did get the grants. The city did not pay for this. It's all been done because a lot of people really care about the river, and they want to make sure that the cities are doing everything they can with volunteers to clean the garbage up so that it does not go into our precious Halifax River.
Wayne, can we feature this on our news and information? I know that we've touched on that in the past, but we can regurgitate it. This is
Yeah.
very relevant. I want people to know what they're seeing.
If you could lift it just a little bit more, the soil and water, don't feed the goat on people that make it. Obviously, the city of Port Orange, and then the foundation is who paid for it. So everybody's been given their accolades and are
Excellent.
very proud of what they do. Yep.
You lifted a little higher.
Just
Thank
pretend
you.
you get that guitar up there.
I like it.
Yeah, so if you have a chance to, I did, if you're on my Facebook, and I reposted the news, Channel News 13 segment, so we can
I know
see
this
it
was
on
grant funded, but what's the approximate cost value of that?
there. Of a water goat?
Hmm?
$5,000.
Nice.
And a little surprising to me, but apparently it is the going rate, and the sponsor and the funds were provided without any question. And the water goat maker is from Tampa, So these are not, this is not just a local project, but throughout the state. Well, part of January is election of officers, and since I'm standing in front of you, I have been voted in as chair again.
Congratulations.
And so look forward to all the projects we're working on. The garden spot is next. Margaret is working on getting the plans for us. They've all been approved by our native garden experts. We will be looking for people to sponsor the benches. And Mayor, I understand we're going to get a certain type of bench, and we're researching that for our conversation. And also, we will be looking for people that would like to volunteer to help maintain the garden. And I think a lot of people, when they see how much work is going into it, the city is going to be digging it up, the dirt around it, so the volunteers can come and just plant the plants. We're trying to get it all organized for all the tree giveaway that we'll be having on March 2nd at the Spring Brew and Food Festival, which unfortunately we told everybody in October it was going to be at the city center, but of course now it's down at the Riverwalk, and so we need to let everybody know. We had 182 people sign up to get free trees. That was amazing. And so they'll need to go down. They will receive a letter from the city saying just go on down and pick up the tree from 10 to 2 Saturday, March 2nd. And we'll coincide that with our plantings of the native.
Do you anticipate having any additional trees available?
Yes, we will have. Last year we had a few extra.
You'll have plenty of walk up.
Right, and
That's
some
amazing.
people will forget. I mean, and so, but they will receive letters. And I think that's about it. Does anybody have any questions?
Council questions?
I do, Chris. Dealing with the water go, and you said volunteer base as far as cleaning that.
Mm-hmm.
You got plans of anybody just yet? Or?
Well, we have, getting the word out right now. The board members are going to take care of it. I think part of it is understanding, is this the right spot for it?
Okay.
The board did not come up with the spot, okay? It was put out to staff. And so this is something that has been a collaboration effort. We think we're doing the right place, but maybe not, so we might have to move it to be functional. What we're looking for is, if you have a chance to watch that news, Spectrum News, you'll see how many people are involved in the other cities and how much garbage.
Yeah.
They give their statistics, so we have to report that as well. It's not a hard job, it's just something that needs to be done continuously, and so we will be looking for people to just come along and sign up. It could be something the high school kids need to do. There's all sorts of ways of having kids really help out and learn.
Yeah, you have a couple different organizations here in town. The first one right off the bat is Scouting of America. There's multiple troops that have to do environmental science,
right,
as far as their merit badges, and they can come into that with Eagle projects also. Four Oceans, there is actually a local chapter in Volusia County. They're always looking for volunteerism doing that, and
Projects.
their big thing is collecting plastic,
Well-
because they turn it and recycle it. And then, not them speaking for a dive store, there's a dive store here locally.
There's a
that
dive store
does
here? In Port Orange?
a lot of environmental help also. So if you get with that person, and they can get it to the club members, and it's a little over 1,200 people in the Port Orange area in that club. So they might be able to help in that aspect for
Yeah.
you too.
It's something you do once a month, twice a month,
Yep.
and then we also, in case there's a storm coming, we have to have backup plans. People, I mean, it's just something that is a true team effort, and
Absolutely.
we want to make sure everybody feels that they can be part of it. The county even has a list of volunteers for water goats and for other projects. So really appreciate the fact that we do.
It's a beautiful thing.
It
I
is.
mean, it's amazing how much you're actually going to get out of it.
Mhm.
You're going to be quite surprised, and
Which is good and bad.
for those that, yeah, exactly. Those that boat and fish the river, it's amazing what the quality it will do for that basin.
Yes, exactly. And we want to make sure that if people, have projects like this is something that, because you know, there's a lot of networking with environmentalists that they all talk to each other. And so this is just one aspect of what we can do between all the cities, especially the coastal cities. We have a little bit unique issue with trying to keep everything out of the Halifax.
No, beautiful.
Christine, Ashton Lakes subdivision, if you're able to reach out to the homeowners association, I think the city staff may have some contact info if you need help with that. But recently, we had to have several trees removed from
Yes,
out
I
there
remember.
that were planted totally in the wrong place, and they were just destroying infrastructure.
Yes.
So it's not something anybody wanted to see happen, but it just become a necessity. So maybe that may be, I've already talked to several residents out there that were really upset about it, and I get it. I mean, they were beautiful, just in the wrong place, and they were just destroying things.
Well, they were the
and
wrong
causing a lot-
trees.
Wrong
too.
trees, wrong
tree,
place,
wrong
a lot of
place.
liability.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, just throwing that out there to you, that
Excellent.
maybe you want to reach out to HOA out
Yeah.
there at Ashland Lakes, let them know about this. Homeowners that want to add another tree to their yard in the right place, in the right kind, might be a really good
Yeah.
thing.
Well, we're growing. The first year we did it, I think we did 40, second year 80,
love
and third year 180. So, and we're getting so much support from the cities, the counties, are all having their own. So we're part of a great group recognizing the Tree City designation is very important to the cities now, more than it used to be.
Absolutely, come a long way.
Yeah, we have.
Council, any other questions?
No? Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christine.
Thanks,
See
Chris.
you.
Section G, additional items. Item 13, city attorney.
No thanks.
Excellent report. Item 14, city manager. Another excellent report. Council committee reports, city council committee reports. Item A on 15, River to Sea TPO, Councilman Reed Foley.
Yeah, executive committee, which I think you guys know I'm on, meets tomorrow, where we are going to review a new permanent home for the River Sea TPO. We're looking to contract with the Cornerstone Building, which if you're not familiar where that is, it's there around the corner of LPGA and 95, right there by Gary Yeomans. And so they have a proposal we're all going to review tomorrow, and maybe finally stop moving around from place to place for a while. We'll see. But that's all I have to report for now.
Item B, Art House, Councilman Tracy Grubbs.
Haven't had a meeting just yet, so we're waiting, and I'll be able
All
to
right,
give it to you.
looking forward to hearing from that. With that, if no other business comes before us, we will see you all again in 2 weeks. Have a good night, everybody.